The human brain is a magnificent thinking machine. It evolved to solve problems, to find patterns in the chaos of the cosmos. But what happens when we turn this machine upon itself? Two ancient traditions from opposite ends of the world explored this very idea. They developed powerful tools to push the mind beyond its everyday limits. In the East, Zen Buddhism gave us the koan. A koan is not a simple riddle with a clever answer. It is a paradoxical statement or a question that logic alone cannot solve. Its roots lie deep in the history of Buddhist thought, designed by masters to shatter a student's reliance on ordinary thinking and trigger a moment of sudden enlightenment, or satori. The purpose is not to find an answer, but to exhaust the intellect until a deeper truth can emerge from beyond it. Koans are deliberately perplexing. They are meant to be a wall that the rational mind repeatedly runs into. By confronting this intellectual dead end, the student is forced to abandon their usual ways of perceiving reality. The paradox acts as a catalyst. It's like trying to grab smoke with your hands. The more you try, the more it slips through your fingers. This frustration is a key part of the process. It is in the giving up of the logical struggle that the mind can make a leap. A famous example is the koan from the master Hakuin Ikaku. Two hands clap and there is a sound. What is the sound of one hand? There is no logical auditory answer to this question. It points to a reality beyond the senses, a truth that must be experienced, not explained. On the other side of the globe, in ancient Greece, another method for seeking wisdom emerged. This was the Socratic dialogue, named for the philosopher Socrates who wandered the streets of Athens. Unlike the Zen Koan, which seeks to break the mind, the Socratic method seeks to build it. It is a form of cooperative, argumentative dialogue between individuals. It is based on asking and answering questions to stimulate critical thinking and to draw out ideas and underlying presumptions. Socrates believed that the disciplined practice of thoughtful questioning enables a person to examine their own beliefs and determine their validity. It is a journey of pure reason, a step-by-step process of discovery. The Socratic method, as recorded by his student Plato, begins with a simple question about a broad concept. For instance, in the dialogue Euthyphro, Socrates asks, "What is piety?" In the Meno, he explores the question, "What is virtue?" Socrates would then methodically dissect every answer he received, revealing contradictions and gaps in knowledge. His goal was not to supply answers himself, but to guide his conversation partner to a more robust and reasoned understanding. He famously claimed that his only wisdom was in knowing that he knew nothing. This method uses logic as its primary tool, carefully chipping away at ignorance to reveal the shape of truth hidden underneath. It is a slow, meticulous process of intellectual construction. The structure and goals of these two methods are almost mirror opposites. A Zen koan is a short, sharp shock to the system. It is presented by a master to a student in a private setting, often during meditation. The student then meditates on the koan for days, weeks, or even years. The goal is a sudden, non-rational breakthrough, a moment of pure insight that transcends language and logic. The structure is one of intense, solitary contemplation, followed by a brief, intuitive presentation of one's understanding to the master. The koan is a tool for demolition, designed to tear down the walls of the logical, conceptual mind so that the student can experience reality directly. It is a path of intuition. Socratic dialogue, however, is a public, collaborative exercise. Its structure is a back-and-forth exchange, a dance of questions and answers. It unfolds in real time, with each statement being immediately tested and scrutinized. The goal is not a sudden flash of insight, but a gradual, incremental arrival at a better, more precise definition or understanding. It seeks to clarify, not to mystify. The Socratic method is a process of elimination, ruling out bad arguments and weak definitions to get closer to the truth. It trusts language and reason as the most reliable vehicles for this journey. It is a path of rational inquiry, building a solid foundation of knowledge piece by piece. These profound differences are born from their cultural origins. Zen Buddhism emerged from a tradition of Eastern mysticism. This worldview often emphasizes that ultimate reality, the true nature of the cosmos, is beyond the grasp of the intellect. It teaches that our attachment to thoughts and concepts is a source of suffering, and that true liberation comes from experiencing the world directly, without the filter of the mind. The koan is a perfect expression of this philosophy. It uses language to show the limits of language. It guides the seeker to a silent, intuitive knowing that is considered more fundamental than any logical conclusion. It's a pointer to the moon, not the moon itself. In contrast, the Socratic method is a cornerstone of Western philosophy, which has long celebrated rationalism. The ancient Greeks were pioneers of logic, mathematics, and systematic inquiry. They believed that the universe was ordered and knowable, and that human reason was the key to unlocking its secrets. The Socratic dialogue embodies this spirit of rational confidence. It operates on the principle that through careful, logical argument we can strip away confusion and arrive at clear truths. It places immense faith in our ability to think our way to wisdom. For the West, the mind is not a barrier to be broken, but a tool to be sharpened. Both Zen Koans and Socratic dialogues, for all their differences, share a common target: the human ego. They both challenge our comfortable certainties and our sense of self-importance. The Zen Koan does this by frustrating the ego's desire to be the smart one who can solve the puzzle. When the intellect fails again and again, the ego's grip loosens. The student is humbled, forced to admit they cannot figure it out. This surrender is the doorway to enlightenment, a state where the small, personal self dissolves into a larger, universal awareness. The koan reveals that the I who is trying to solve the problem is, in fact, the problem itself. The Socratic method attacks the ego from a different angle. It does so by exposing ignorance. Socrates would often engage with people who were very confident in their knowledge, politicians, poets, and artisans. Through his relentless questioning, he would reveal that their beliefs were often contradictory or unfounded. This process, known as elenchus, could be deeply uncomfortable. It forced people to confront the limits of their own understanding and to question what they thought they knew. This intellectual humility is the first step toward true wisdom. By admitting I do not know, the ego is set aside, making space for genuine learning to begin. The use of language in each method is also dramatically different. In the Zen tradition, language is seen as a trap. It carves the seamless reality of the cosmos into separate objects and concepts, creating a world of illusion. The koan, therefore, uses language in a subversive way. It uses words to point beyond words, creating a logical knot that can only be untied by letting go of language altogether. The sound of one hand isn't something to be described, it's something to be realized in a moment of profound silence. Language is the boat you use to cross the river, but you leave it behind once you reach the other shore. For Socrates, language is not a trap, but a precision instrument. The entire Socratic enterprise is a quest for clearer, more accurate definitions. The dialogues are exercises in linguistic hygiene, cleaning up sloppy thinking and ambiguous terms. Socrates believed that if we could just define our terms correctly, if we could agree on what justice or virtue or piety truly is, we could live better, more ethical lives. For him, wisdom was inextricably linked to the clear and correct use of language. The path to truth was paved with well-defined words and logically sound arguments. Language is the very material from which wisdom is built. Even in our modern, fast-paced world, these ancient techniques endure. The Zen Koan remains a central practice in many schools of Zen Buddhism, a timeless tool for guiding students toward enlightenment. But its influence has spread beyond the monastery. Artists, writers, and thinkers sometimes use koan-like paradoxes to spark creativity and challenge assumptions. The practice of mindfulness, a close cousin of Zen meditation, has entered the mainstream as a way to reduce stress and increase awareness. The core idea of the koan, to step outside of our habitual thought patterns, is more relevant than ever in an age of information overload. The Socratic method is also alive and well. It is the foundation of the modern law school education, where students are taught to question every premise and defend their arguments rigorously. It is used in psychotherapy, particularly in cognitive behavioral therapy, to help people examine and challenge their own irrational thoughts. It is a powerful tool in teaching, leadership, and scientific inquiry, encouraging a culture of critical thinking and open debate. Whenever we ask why and refuse to accept a simple answer, we are walking in the footsteps of Socrates. His method is a blueprint for how to think, not what to think. Let's imagine giving both traditions the same cosmic question: what is the nature of time? A Zen master might respond with a koan: show me your face before your parents were born. This is not an answer. It is a redirection. It pushes the student away from abstract intellectual concepts like time and toward the direct, immediate experience of existence itself, a reality that precedes all concepts. The goal is to experience the timeless nature of the present moment. The answer is not found in a theory, but in a state of being, a sudden awakening to the now that is beyond the flow of past and future. A Socratic approach would be entirely different. Socrates would begin by asking, "You use the word time. What do you mean by it?" He would then question every response. Is time a river that flows? If so, where does it come from and where does it go? Is it like the ticking of a clock? But doesn't time pass even when all clocks stop? Through this dialogue, he would expose the contradictions in our common sense notions of time. He wouldn't provide a final definition, but would lead his partner to a more humble and precise understanding of the problem, clearing away the fog of unexamined assumptions. The goal is intellectual clarity, not mystical experience. Ultimately, Zen Koans and Socratic dialogues represent two profound and powerful paths up the same mountain. They are both designed for the courageous seeker, the one who is not satisfied with easy answers or second-hand knowledge. One path takes you through the wilderness of intuition, using paradox to leap beyond the mind. The other guides you along the rigorous, well-lit trail of reason, using logic to build a staircase to the truth. Both challenge us to look deeper, to question everything, and to embark on that greatest of all human adventures, the quest for wisdom. The cosmos is full of mysteries, but the greatest mystery of all lies within our own minds.